Diaspora youth are growing up in between worlds, made to feel as though they don't belong to either. The fact is, they not only belong to both worlds, the cultural and the modern, they are the third culture, the new emergent way of being. We are intersectional beings. We have to just embrace that reality. But sadly, many young people, middle-aged and old, people who have moved on from an old setting to a new one, find themselves grappling with this clash, identity clash. You have cultural expectations on one hand, and then you have the formal setting on the other hand, where you're expected to speak a certain way, behave a certain way, and you're not just embraced for who you are. Why is being an ethnic minority or a diverse person in diaspora so problematic? Why should it be a problem? I don't think it should. Hi, my name is Uju. Now, many young people I've observed experience this identity clash, and it starts especially in a very subtle way in the school system, where your name is probably mispronounced, for example, or people just look at you a certain way and they feel, oh, you're too diverse for this setting, even in the workplace. And then you also have, sadly, but it is a reality, in the cultural setting, sometimes the jokes and the nuances just go above your head because you've lost touch with the roots, and it's not particularly anybody's fault. A lot has happened over time. Sadly, putting people in a box is not helping. So today I want to speak about ethnic minorities in diaspora and how we can own our identity. So here's an interesting statistic. 40% of UK young people in diaspora feel as though they do not belong. They feel this terrible pressure to change the way they speak or the way they behave in order to belong in school. Now, looking at this proportion, and then you look at the statistics when it comes to the number of black teachers in the UK, it is shocking that just about 2% of UK teachers are of black heritage. Ethnic minorities, I can assure you, are not more than 10%. So look at the large and growing population of not just migrants or refugees, but also people of dual heritage, people of mixed heritage. And then you look at the teaching staff, and this diversity is not reflected. And it's not just in your head. This is a systemic problem. Now, how is this a systemic problem? It's going to lead to things like cultural duality. So, of course, these people do have dual heritage and they are entitled to such. But then when it comes to access to facilities, you are presented with this template. Oh, pick one. Are you black British or black this or Asian that or black British this? Or... There's nothing wrong with being all of them. And there are people, trust me, there are people who are beyond these boxes. Where does this idea of boxes come from anyway? There are people who belong to so many categories, and then this kind of cuts things short for them. Now, this cultural duality also brings about identity clash, home versus school. In school, you're trying to belong and people don't see you blending in. You come home, you're trying to be yourself because, again, you are maybe a second generation migrant or a third generation migrant. And then your family would be like, oh, why are you being so posh, so bougie? Why are you trying to show that you're so learned and educated? It is just who you are, and possibly not just the way you speak. If I reflect on the young people I have in my home and how, yes, they do share my heritage as being of black origin, but at the same time, they are of this, country and everything, entitlement. I wouldn't expect them to think the way I think or to appreciate certain ways of viewing things. And I must respect their own views as well. And I do wonder if society is doing some sort of injustice by expecting different from these young people, expecting them to give up their own new emerging personality and identity, which is a blend of not just the modern day age in which they live, not just the heritage of their parents and grandparents, but also the education that they have received. We're not meant to throw that in a box and hide it away because we're trying to impress a certain cultural setting. But at the same time, I know that parents expect their young people to uphold these values. Now, what does this lead to? Mental health issues, stress, anxiety, bias, stereotyping. I remember one of the young people I work with and mentor. So the young man braided his hair, cornrows all the way back. And I was like, wow, this is a very different look. And he's very tall, huge, well built. And during the session, I had to say, what inspired this new look? And he was like, I just like the look. I appreciate the look. And I just had this fear that this well-built young man might walk on the street, and then suddenly this idea of stereotyping, I just had this nervous feeling that he could easily be seen as what he is not, possibly associated with, criminal behavior or tendency, even though he's a well-learned and well-behaved young man. Why should I have such fears if it isn't the fact that society has been programmed to think a certain way, behave a certain way, and it influences how we relate with people, especially those people who are of foreign backgrounds, ethnic minorities. They end up being at the other end, the receiving end. So it adds extra pressure on them to choose which kind of identity they embrace, as opposed to embracing all of their identity. Is there a cost to society? Well, 100%. So firstly, we have higher levels of underachievement because of lack of confidence among these young people. We have high levels of cultural incompetence amongst our staff in schools and in educational settings, even in other professional settings, including the hospitals and so on and so forth. Many of them don't know how to relate with these people. For example, this idea that black women have this high threshold when it comes to childbirth, and so they are not entitled to, the anesthetics that their mates are getting, or that black people do not experience mental health issues, and therefore such people do not have access to the kind of support that they're meant to get. Or when these people in diaspora need certain help, they end up getting the template that is reserved for, let's say, one or two people who have shared similar traits. There's nothing wrong with saying, okay, this is an African, and so I approach them in this way. But at the same time, the fact that I look a certain way does not mean one person's black experience is transferable to another person's black experience, or Asian experience for that matter, or mixed heritage experience. So it's quite important that we begin to educate ourselves as such. Unfortunately, what we don't see is that ethnic minorities in diaspora are like our modern day superpower. So they have cultural intelligence of both worlds, and this is an ace we need as we move into the new world, the new age. The past is gone, the future is yet to come, but we are the now, and it's high time we begin to listen to each other. So why must we embrace our diverse identities, especially if you're in diaspora? Firstly, you will find you have greater adaptability, stronger cultural intelligence, and again, like I said, with design of technology and products, this is a demographic that we want to get in touch with. Then we have a broader, wider world overview of where things are going, and we communicate versatile mindsets that cut across wider demographic. You're carrying both worlds along. So I will 100% recommend that we stop thinking of dual identity and this concept of being an ethnic minority in diaspora as a problem. In fact, if you have intersectional identities, this is your time. You want to cash in and cash out. Find your superpowers. Find how you can embrace your adaptations to your own benefit and those around you. So don't shrink. Look for communities that will support you. Okay? Look for people like you, but not just people like you. Look for communities that have ideas on ways forward. If also you've experienced anxiety or some kind of mental stress because of the way you've been treated based on your intersectional identity, then obviously seek help. Fix that mindset and forge ahead. So, you find people to support you, embrace your identity, seek out mentors, and then for educational settings, please, you are the cradle. I know that there's the saying that the mother is the cradle of, humanity and all whatnot. In today's world, the school, I'm sorry to say, but schools have taken over significantly the place of parents. So there's a lot of responsibility on our shoulders. We cannot continue to treat people as though we see them with only one lens. We need to diversify our lens. Our curriculum must be more reflective of the diversity in the classroom. When we are teaching, it's important that educators look at who is in the room and make sure the conversations take them along, if not embrace them and let them lead the way. For example, you're teaching a topic on places in the world. How is it possible that you skip certain parts and focus only on maybe European areas or African areas because that is your own experience? Gone are the days when that is acceptable. If you do not know, oh my goodness, there is Google. Let's go online and prepare rich and diverse curriculum, or curricula rather, rich and diverse to take everybody along. Most importantly, the teaching demographic, the leadership, it's important that we find ways to show representation. I feel if we do these things, then one way or the other, we are building a better and stronger world, even if we don't know it yet. And one final thing, to you out there, young people who are of dual heritage, or you're an ethnic minority living in diaspora, or even at home in a new emerging world, well done. What I would say is, while you embrace your strengths in your identity, I would strongly encourage you to find where you are from. That is a big, big homework for everybody. You need to know the history of the people upon whose shoulders you stand, the people who have led you so far. You need to know the challenges that they navigated, because if you do not find those things out, chances are those things are out there waiting for you. But when you identify these problems, then you have a greater chance to spot them far ahead, prepare yourself, and navigate them successfully. I hope we found this interesting and useful. Share it with someone you know who needs to hear this. You are highly appreciated. There can be no two people like you. Your diversity, your intersectionality, your unique self is your superpower. Don't let anyone tell you any differently. Thank you. So the next time you hear somebody code switching, for example, they say 1, 2, 3, and some people are expecting a 3, it's okay. If that 3 came from me, I will say 3 and 3 again, because that is my Nigerian heritage. But then if you say 3, well, that is also your British heritage, and you are entitled to both. If your friend says Abi, respond with Shebi. No wahala. There's always room for more. Let's make the world a fun place to be in. We do not all have to be English or British or French. Even the Niger swagger, there's also the Zimbabwean one. And everybody has that responsibility. Find out something new about a different culture, about a different kind of setting, so that you have a wider understanding of people, where they come from, and how to respect them in their own way.
make your visa. Let me make your visa. I'ma make your visa. Let me make your visa.